Hi there, and a very warm welcome to this free event. Design your life, craft your vision for 2025. So, in this presentation, I'm going to be guiding you through a process to help you craft your own personal vision of success for 2025, as well as explaining just how powerful having your own clear and compelling vision of your desired future can be. Now, before we get into it, first of all, I want to give full disclosure here. Was a live event. However, there was a problem with recording at the start of so I missed recording some of the event yesterday. And that was my own bad, my own boo-boo. So I scratched my head and I wondered, how can I make this even better? And it actually worked out pretty well, because what the recording missed was the reflective piece. So I'm now re-recording the first few slides, and I'm going to structure it in a way that really supports you that is listening if you missed the live event. So a little bit more about me. Of course, my name is Shane Pearson, and if you haven't heard of me before, I'm now a 6 times Lifestyle Coach of the Year winner from year 2021 to 2025, and I'm also an accredited thought leader in behavioral change. My own coaching brand is called Design Your Life Coaching, and I've been coaching and training health and wellness coaches for almost a decade now. I've trained in many ways as a coach, multiple different qualifications, including a human potential coach, health and wellness coach, advanced health and wellness coach. And I would now brand myself as a transformational mindset coach. Prior to my coaching career, I was heavily trained really in something called NLP, or Neuro Linguistic Programming, which is really all about mindset. So I'm a master practitioner and a trainer of NLP. And I also have trained as a nutritional therapist and a qualified nutritional therapist. And I bring all of these different skills, different expertise under the one banner now as a transformational mindset coach. So enough about me, because this is really all about you. And what we're going to be doing today is helping you really plug in the coordinates of your desired future. So a nice metaphor to use here is, of course, the GPS. All very familiar now with Google Maps or different GPS systems that help us navigate and find our way to the destination we've required. So crafting your vision, really creating this powerful vision of who you want to be, where you want to get to, is like plugging into your phone or your computer the coordinates of where you'd like to get to. And once you do that, of course, the computer takes over. It maps out the destination, it comes up with various routes, and then all you have to do is follow the blue line. So in terms of your brain, in terms of your wonderful, magnificent mind, having a vision is giving clear instructions to your wonderful unconscious mind, the supercomputer that is your brain. And don't underestimate this. One thing I like to say is, number one is that the human body, your body, is the most amazing piece of technology you will ever possess. We often forget that, don't we? And another thing I'd say is that your brain, yes, your brain is still the most powerful supercomputer on the planet, even in this day of AI. I heard some statistics the other day about comparing our brains to the AI, to computing power and artificial intelligence. And our brain still has about 1,000 times more connections than the most sophisticated supercomputers. And more importantly, I think, is that we are incredibly efficient, because our brains only use about 30 watts. Now, that's the equivalent of, probably a powerful LED light, but in the old bulbs we have, the incandescent lights would have been a very dim light. Now, you could probably leave a 30-watt light bulb on all year round and it wouldn't have a huge impact on your power bill. However, running a supercomputer, one not even as powerful as your brain, would probably bankrupt you if you were to run it for the entire year. So don't underestimate the power of your brain. And really what this is about is helping you get more out of it. Because I don't know about you, but When you were born, you probably didn't get a manual for the brain that helped you get the most out of your magnificent mind. So I hope to be sharing some really valuable stuff with you to help you get more from you. And although we're looking ahead, although we're looking forward and helping you craft this vision, we don't want to go there yet. Why? Well, if you think about the vision and where we want to get to, typically we're all wired to be focused on what we call the gap between where you are now, and where the gap to where you want to get to, the ideal self, the goal, the outcome. Now, if we're constantly focusing on that gap, and this is a tendency we all have, if we're constantly focusing on that gap, it kind of feels like, well, I'm not there yet. There's always something doing. We're always striving. And there are benefits to that. But if it's one-sided, it gets a bit tiring. We're never quite there. It's an eternal struggle. So what I wanted to do first is do a process called reversing the gap. This is a very simple little mind hack that we can all do anytime. And a really good time to do it now is to first look back from now to where you were a year ago. And when we look at that, we start to realize, oh my goodness, I've made all this progress. And we start to reflect on the good stuff. We start to reflect on our wins, our highlights, our achievements. And that brings energy. That brings this positive energy. In positive psychology, we're always trying to focus on the positives first, and it builds up the positive energy, and then we can utilize that positive energy. So let's do that first, and then we'll bring you in then we'll pivot and start looking at your vision and the year ahead and how great it could be. So taking time to reflect. We're going to just take some moments now. So if you have a pen and paper handy, this is great. You're going to be able to pause as you're recording now. So you're going to be able to pause. So I want you to get yourself ready now and just take a few moments to reflect on what were some of your biggest wins in 2024. What were think of the special moments. Think of any special moment, any highlights in 2024. So take a pen and paper now, press pause, and take a few minutes to really reflect and get the pump going. You might struggle at the start, but once you get going, you really find they start coming in more and more. So what were some special moments? These could be particular. Sometimes we have spontaneous moments. There's a beautiful moment that appears in your life, and sometimes it's more of a highlight. Maybe it took more effort, or maybe it's a longer period. So just first of all, reflecting on special moments and highlights. So press pause, and when you're ready, come back and start again. Okay, and if you're back, good, well done. So what was it like just to focus on some of those special moments? You're probably already feeling better. Maybe there's even a smile on your face, reflecting on those highlights. The next thing I want you to do is shift focus now, and think of 2024, the year that was. And this time, I want you to reflect on and note some of your most proudest achievements or the biggest accomplishments in the year. So when you're ready, you're going to press pause and note down on a piece of paper, or even just mentally reflect on achievements or accomplishments you had in 2024. And when you're ready, just come back. Good. So how was that for you? Had you forgotten some of those accomplishments or achievements? What does it feel like remembering those achievements and accomplishments? And now, with that in mind, there are also things you might want to leave behind. So what are you going to leave behind you in 2024? So when you're ready, you're going to press pause and note down all of the things that you're going to leave behind you in 2024. Maybe it's stress, disorganization, being frantic, or disagreements, or whatever it was that you don't want to bring into the year ahead. Press pause, and when you're ready, come back. Good. Okay. Welcome back. So if you've done that, you're getting clearer. And then we want to focus on what are you taking with you into 25? Lots of good stuff in there too. So it's time to really focus on your strengths, on well, what makes you feel good, and what you've learned from life that is good for you, that you want more of. So when you're ready, you're going to press pause and you're going to start thinking about what are you taking with you in 25. So press pause, reflect on what you're taking into 2025, and when you're ready, just hit play again. Good, well done. So now we also have an opportunity now from this reflection to look at your biggest life lessons from last year. Because, life isn't always easy. Life isn't always graceful. However, we can always learn. That's the growth mindset. Powerful question here is, you can use this whenever you wish, but a powerful question is rather than asking, why is this happening to me, or why did that happen to me, which is a victim mindset, and to flip that is, why is this happening for me, or why did that happen for me? So there's lessons in our challenges, and if we take those lessons, well, hopefully we won't have to learn the lesson again. But also really empowers us. It helps shape us and help us evolve. So I want you to take a few moments and reflect on some of the biggest life lessons you had last year. And this can be different areas of your life. So did you have big life lessons last year in your work or career? Perhaps there's big life lessons you've learned in relationships. Relationships can be a really challenging yet powerful way to learn more about ourselves, to learn more about how we deal with and be with others. Are there any big major life lessons you learned from your relationships last year? And these could be with your partner, your spouse, or family member, friend. Any important relationships to you can be valuable ways to learn. Now, what about health? This can be a big one. If we don't listen to our bodies, it usually starts to whisper at us. And then that whisper gets louder, and after a while, it's more like a tug. And if we ignore that, the body can just get louder. And sometimes we're very busy, we're very stressed, and the body eventually can start to shout. And if we ignore the shouts, it can scream. And eventually we will have to pay attention. So sometimes it's very common. There's no judgment here. It's happened to us all in some ways, I'd say, is that we didn't listen. Or maybe you did. Whether you listened or you didn't, eventually we can learn that things about our health, things that we bodies just are, or just not suitable for us. We have to do more of or less of. So reflecting any life lessons perhaps in your area of health. And then other life lessons perhaps in terms of money or wealth. Perhaps there's good life lessons around you. Maybe you had some great learnings and deposit around saving or investing or in managing money well. And it could be on the flip side. Our biggest lessons come from making mistakes, from perhaps there was overspend or there was financial stress that you had to address. And through that, you learn much more about how you work and what's best for you. So think of any areas of your life, any major life lessons that you can garner from the year that was. Press pause if you need to at any time and just really take those lessons. Okay, now from those lessons, even if you have one or two lessons or if you have many, what can you learn from them that can make your 2025 even better? What can you glean from those lessons that will be really valuable before you enter into the year ahead, before you start trying to achieve this vision that you're going to create? What would make 25 even better? Press pause if you need to. And when you're ready, you can come back and press play. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is values. And values are really what's most important to you. This is a very powerful force in our lives. It drives our behavior. And the important thing to remember here is that our values are usually deeply unconscious, deeply or at least unconscious. Without exploration, without reflection, we're not always clear as to what really is most important to us. And this can get us into a bit of conflict sometimes. Sometimes we want something, we think we want something, but really our values are driving our behavior in another way. We start shoulding all over ourselves. I should be eating better. I should be fitter. I should be making more money. I should be spending more time with my family. And if you're not, a sure sign then perhaps there's a values conflict. So your values operate in what's called a hierarchy. In your unconscious, you will have a values hierarchy. And the top 3 in your life will be very important. The top 8 are influential, particularly the top 3 is where you're going to spend a lot of time meeting those values or trying to meet those values. So what do you value the most in life? If you're not so clear, and there's a great way to think about this is, well, where do you spend most of your time, most of your energy? Typical values are things like family, connection, work, career, money, health, hobbies, travel, fun and recreation, leisure, work. All these things can be factors that drive us. And when we're clear on our values, it really helps us to simplify life, and helps us to realize if we need to re-evaluate, because they're deeply unconscious, you're not always consciously I'm not always consciously choosing them. But more common than not is we just need to prioritize and learn how we can meet what's most important to us. So great exercise is to really just reflect on what you value most in life. So really just take some time to reflect on what's most important to you in life. Press pause until you have got clear on, write down 3 to 5 values that you know are really important to you. Good. And if you're back now, it's time to consider, all that being said, what do you want more of in life? Great question. What do you want more of? Going into the year ahead, into life, getting really clear on what you want more of. What is perhaps the value that you want to meet more of? Is it quality time with a partner? Could be travel. Could be just chilling out. Maybe you're working too hard. Well, it could be more sleep, rest, and recovery. Very powerful in our overall balance and well-being. So take some time to ask yourself the question, what do you want more of? Press pause until you've completed that. Good. So now you've got clear on what you want more of. Another great question is, what do you want less of? So take some time now to reflect on what you could do with kind of trimming the fat, getting rid of. What do you want less of in your life? Excuse me. Popular one always is stress. You want less stress. So what do you want less stress? And if you're thinking of stress, perhaps what causes this stress for you? Stress is different for everyone. So just go a little bit deeper. And if perhaps you want to have less, do you want less holidays? Or do you want to spend less time at work? Do you want to be less busy, less frantic, less disorganized, less stressed? Just take a moment, press pause, and jot down a few things that you want less of in your life going forward. Good. Well done. Okay. Now, next question is, it's really help you kind of elicit some values. If you could do absolutely anything tomorrow or even next week, what would you love to do? That's a great question. That'll show up something. That'll highlight some things really are some of the values you're not being met for you. So just take a moment where you can press pause and ask yourself, if you could do absolutely anything, like maybe all next week, what would you love to do? How would you spend your time? So take a few minutes of that, press pause until you're ready, and when you're ready, just press play. Good. Okay. Now you've done some great reflection, and well done, especially if you've taken time to press pause and take some notes, or even that reflection that we've just done together can be very useful. So know thyself. It's really your job to know yourself more than anybody else. What have you learned about yourself from this exploration? What surprised you? What didn't? So this can be a bit of a head scratcher or a beard scratcher, but some things might come to line, especially after that reflection. So take a few moments now, and you can press pause when you're ready, and ask yourself, what have you learned about yourself from this exploration so far? Think of things like what surprised you and what didn't. Press pause until you're ready, and just press play when you're ready to come back. Okay, good. So this is the reflection piece finished. We're going to shift now to the live recording, and we're going to pivot now into the future focus. But I hope you really benefit from this reflection and built up more awareness, built up that positive psychology, that positive energy that you can remembering the reverse gap, how far you've come in the last year, in the last 3 years, in the last 5 years. And armed with that and filled with that energy, you'll get a lot from the rest of the session going forward. Okay. Okay, let's do a pivot and focus on the future. But before we get into the practical stuff, what does a vision mean anyway? Let's find out what we're talking about. So to envision, that's the verb of vision, is to imagine or picture something in a specific way. So through envisioning, we shape our realities by we train our minds to focus on opportunities and possibilities that align with our goals. Quick call back to that reticular activating system. Right? That's how we're doing here. We're giving you the coordinates, and that shapes our realities. But how? We're training our minds to know, well, where are the opportunities for me here? How would you help me get this? In my model of the world, we have a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. And today what we're doing, we're going to really work together with these two minds. So the conscious mind is the goal setter. We're going to decide what we want. And then the unconscious mind is the goal getter. It gets to work. So with the right instruction, the captain of the ship decides we're going to leave port tomorrow and we're heading for New York Harbor, and we're going to cross in this route and we're going to be there by whatever time or schedule. That's the captain. The rest of the crew has to get work. They have to power the engines. They have to navigate. They have to do all the things to get across the ocean. And that's for you. That's your unconscious mind. So through envisioning, we're really giving it the information it requires to know what we want, so that it can then go and help us get that. The more detailed and vivid the vision, the more powerfully it influences our thoughts, decisions, and actions. And that's where I struggle without help, getting detailed and vivid visions. And that's what this is about. Because I know the reason I'm doing this, and the reason I like to do it every year, is because when I do this with my client, when we're often typically we kind of have a more vague, or we might have a kind of a logical, rational goal, or we might have a kind of a blurry, kind of clear vision, but it's not detailed, it's not vivid. And when it's not vivid, it doesn't have the same emotional charge. So I really want that. And something powerful happens when we really communicate to our own brain in a way that it understands, which is through pictures, sounds, feelings that, that's what I want. And then we can really, that can crystallize. For a coach, it's brilliant because then when you and your client have that, you have a clear outcome. You always know where you're going. And for an individual who has it by themselves, it's like, okay, that's the GPS coordinates. So I mentioned this guy, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Anybody know Dr. Joe Dispenza? Well, not know him personally, but admire his work, or he's doing some fantastic work in terms of what would you call it? Kind of transformational mindset stuff. Really tapping into the power of the mind, the unconscious, to bring about some quite incredible results. Love his books on Audible. I'm a huge Audible fan. My book count is about 10x more because of Audible and listening to books compared to reading them. Okay, so he's great. This is very much inspirational to me and how I work. So he has this thing: if you wake up in the morning and you're not defined by a vision of the future, if you wake up in the morning and you're not be defined, as you see the same people. Well, I'll start again. As you wake up in the morning and you're not defined by a vision of the future, as you see the same people and you go to the same places and you do the same exact thing at the same exact time, it's no longer your personality that's creating your personal reality. Now your personal reality is affecting and creating your personality. So let me unpack that. We're habitual creatures by nature. Anyone ever tried to kind of give up biting their nails, something when they're younger? And you say, I'll never do that again. You sit in your fingers and then you go back in the mouth again. So we all have habitual ways of being. The human brain is like that. When we do something repeatedly, it becomes ingrained, it's like a little groove in our brain. It's like the old vinyl record players. We've got a really deep groove on a record and the needle just hops into the groove and it keeps playing the same old song. And we go, why am I doing this again? I can't believe it. Like me in the record thing. So we fall into our habits. And then their habits become a reality. And we're seeing that and we're convinced that we are our habits. And if we don't do something about it, we'll just call it fate and say, well, that's who I am. No. Who you are is who you choose to be. And that's kind of where the visions comes in. When we have a vision, we're choosing who we are becoming. And then we're in a whole different kind of space. When we're choosing who we're becoming, we're actively creating our lives. We're co-creating with the universe. This is the life, this is the role I want to play in life. And if we don't, we're just this kind of active kind of characters in a movie. We're playing out a role. So what is the importance of having a vision? Number one, it provides clarity and direction. It provides a clear path and sense of purpose. So the beautiful thing about a vision is we're tapping into our unconscious in the creative process. A logical brain can often be coming from the rational mind, but a vision often, if we do it right, will be like kind of usually aligns with our values. It's something we really want deep down. And it provides a clear path. And now I know how to focus my energy. Somebody wanted less distraction in 2025 than 2024. So if you want less distraction, you really what you want is more focus. And you want to guard that focus and you want to protect that focus. And that's how you avoid distraction. So motivation and focus helps maintain motivation and stay focused on long-term goals. Beautiful, which is a huge reason we need a vision. Who here has found that they set a goal and it's great for a week or two and then life takes over, or you're doing great and then there's a disruption, like there's a holiday or there's a sickness or there's an injury, and then it's like, oh, and you realize months later that you've completely fallen off your good habits or your goal. So a vision is something we keep tapping into. And they provide that long-term motivation. Enthusiasm has a half-life. We can get really enthusiastic about our goal today. Yeah, I want that. And then 2 days later, it's like, oh, what did I want again? I forgot. So we can't rely on just enthusiasm. What we need is something more reliable and strong. So I know in my coaching sessions, when we have a clear vision established, when my client is losing motivation, they're doubting themselves, or they're beginning to lose focus, we pull them back to the vision. We have them remember the vision and to pull that back. And then within seconds, it can really just start to, oh yeah, that's why I'm doing this. Change is hard. not being yourself is hard. So it's going to mean we're going to require something reliable and tangible that we can tap into to bring back our motivation and focus. And then decision making. If we have a clear vision of who here has got a kind of a vision for a healthier body, a fitter body, or maybe less kind of pinch my waist, a little bit less flab perhaps, or a little bit less. If you have a vision, and I've actually just got a photo of how I used to look as a vision for me in terms of body image. And when you have the decision to make, it's like, yeah, oh, I could have that cream bun. I could sit on the couch and eat a packet of crisps, or I could go to the gym. It's a decision. And when you go, oh, I could sit on the couch and watch my favorite show and eat a pizza or something, and then you go, you think the vision, you go, that doesn't really align with the vision. So decision making becomes a lot easier. It's like, does it align with the vision or not? If it says no, you're betraying the vision, and you will betray your vision. We're not like 100% on this, but the more you do that, you start going, yeah, and you start to feel worse. You start to go, yeah, what did I do that for? That was kind of counterproductive. That's not really bringing me towards my goal. So it really helps with decision making. Resilience. Now, this is often underestimated and under expressed. Resilience provides strength and determination during our challenges. So if you're going to attempt to make some serious changes, if you're going to have a bold vision for 2025, there's going to be times where you're in the trenches. It could be like the sleepless nights. It could be like a time of stress, pressure. It could be a time of low energy. It could be a time of external factors, getting scammed, whatever, things that we expected and unexpected. We need to have resilience. So resilience, so having a vision can provide a great amount of resilience. There's a beautiful book, Man's Search for Meaning. I know a lot of you will probably have read it or heard about it. Viktor Frankl. And he was a survivor of the prison of war camps in Nazi Germany, in the Holocaust. And he survived somehow. Amazing story. But he observed while he was in those camps, he observed both a lot of the most unbelievably horrific ways that a human being can behave and treat another human being. And he also saw some of the most humane acts, some of the most courageous acts of humanity in the same environment. And he saw people, very quickly, suffer and suffer and die. And he saw people somehow hang on and survive these things like himself. And what they had in common, they had a purpose. They had a vision of their future. Was it trying to get back to their family, or was it, trying to just get through this so they could have a life again on the other side? When they had a vision, it provided resilience. It gave them something they could tap into, even though their current reality was bleak or horrific or just beyond what we can imagine. Depravity. So having a vision can be a really powerful way to give you resilience, to dig into. Some days you're going to need to dig deep, and a vision can be the reminder to do that. And also then alignment. So we can all can have, this is where, in my opinion, vision trumps goals. If you just have goals, often they're kind of scattered, and it's like, oh, I want this, and I want this, I have a goal to set this, and they're all over the place, and their energies aren't aligned. When you have a vision, we can have lots of goals, but they're all aligned to the vision. And when they're all aligned to the vision, it's like you're going to climb the top of the mountain, and all the steps you take are moving in the right direction. So these are a lot of the reasons that we need a vision, why it's so important. So here's a recent, actually. So I had a client recently, actually very recently, and it was just so appropriate. I asked him for a testimonial. So his story was, it started the year, he's been frustrated because he'd been very clear what he wanted in his head. His mind was aligned with the goal. And yet he wasn't doing it. And he was frustrated. It was like, I can't believe I'm just not acting, and I should be this, shooting all over himself. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. Who here ever caught himself, I should be doing more. I should be doing this. Why am I doing this? And it was causing him much frustration. So for me, that was, I was trying to find what could be wrong here. And what was missing was, we checked in his vision. and he had a kind of a logical, rational goal, but it wasn't embodied. It's like the mind wanted this, but the body was going, I don't care. I'd rather just like sit and watch Netflix personally. So there was a conflict. There was a kind of a struggle between the mind and the body. So what was missing was a compelling vision. So what we did is went through a similar exercise, and then he visualized a compelling image of the future that he wanted to become a reality. So in a nutshell, it went something from like being, I wanted to, he's a coach. He wanted to grow his business. There was kind of financial targets. There was other activities like podcasts and things, but he wasn't doing them. But then his vision was him having successfully achieved it on his beach, looking out of the ocean, just feeling this vibration in his chest, really empowered, and he'd done it. He'd proven himself. Yes, I've done this, and that brought in the emotional brain. In coaching, we talk of engaging the emotional brain, and in a vision is a beautiful way to engage that emotional brain. And when we did that, he was so emotionally attached to this vision that I found it easy to make the changes necessary to get on track to achieving my goal. So rather than trying to have overcome all this resistance, the resistance turned into support from his self, from his own self, because the vision brought online the emotional brain, and gave his brain the right instructions so they could go behind him. I highly recommend Shane's visualization process if you want to make a positive shift. Well, that's why we're here. So discovering your true north. I think of another reason another benefit of the vision. It's like having a reliable navigation system. If you're in the old days, before the GPS and stuff, you would look up at the sky, you'd find the North Star, the brightest star in the sky, and from that you could navigate. So the true north, what is your true north? Do you have that guiding star that you can always just look up into the darkness and find find that North Star for you? So your personal vision serves as a constant, unwavering point of reference, guiding you through life's journey, helping you make decisions, helping you stay focused, helping you get on, and be resilient and make the changes. And direction and purpose. It's like it provides that direction of purpose, navigating those challenges and opportunities, kind of needing some way to get through the obstacles along the way. A stable anchor keeping you grounded and consistent in your efforts and decisions. Inspiration and aspiration. It inspires you to reach for your highest potential. We're not doing that, folks. Most of us, very few, I think it's what people, the likes of like Elon Musk, what he's achieving. I don't know. Is that a controversial name to bring up? But Richard Branson, the people who run multiple billion businesses, there's incredible potential, I think, in everybody. And a vision is usually a powerful way to start tapping into more of your potential. And the bolder it gets and the more you achieve these kind of things, the more you will want to follow that. And navigating through the darkness. So in those moments of uncertainty, like if you've been brought to your knees and won the battles on your knees in life, you come out a lot stronger. So in those darker moments, those challenging moments, it can be like a beacon of light. Just like think of Viktor Frankl and those people in the prisoner work camps. Having that vision of the future was enough to get them through, helping them find their way. So another client testimonial I worked with, Eva X, actually a couple of years ago. She found it very powerful. For the first time, I actually envisioned my goal in my mind so that I could feel it with all my senses. Before we did the exercise, my vision was a slightly shy and blurry version of what I saw doing the exercise. Now I have a much bolder and clearer vision of what I want to accomplish. So moving into that, really feeling it. This is where, in my training in NLP, we talk about seeing the pictures we make and the sounds we hear, but it's the feeling. When we really tap into the feeling, when the vision makes us feel really good, that's when these get powerful. And there's a bit of a knack to that sometimes. Sometimes some people get it straight away. And I'm actually going to do a masterclass for coaches on getting this right, because if you're not sure, you haven't really got it. When you get the vision and you really have it, it looks vivid and you feel it. It's so obvious. People, their face changes, they're beaming, or you feel energy in your body. So there's no really faking it, I suppose. So how when you're creating your personal vision, you want to be engaging all the senses. Really important. When you're going through the process, I want you to be making sure that you can see pictures. If you struggle with that, focus on the feelings first. But we're going to, I call it building out the multi-sensory approach, what you hear, what you see, and what you feel. VAK, visual, auditory, kinesthetic. Another thing about a vision in terms of communicating with the unconscious mind is we have to act as if it's now. It's like in 2 years I'm going to be a world champion. Actually, we have a world champion. It sounds like on the call with Michelle. Um, so it's in the future. So for the vision to work, your unconscious mind only knows now. It doesn't really get the future. It's like a child. It's like a young child. It's like there's now or not now. Or I have an ADHD client who says for ADHD people, ADHD, it is now or not now. So that's your unconscious mind. It's like, it's now or not now. So when we're creating a vision, we're acting as if we're already at the successful completion of what it is we want to achieve. And we speak from that. It is the 31st of December, and I am so happy and grateful that I have dot, 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 that I have grown my business, that I have achieved this beautiful state of health and energy and balance, and that I feel so good and I look so good inside and out. And when we can feel it now, we're kind of tricking our brains. But it's always tricking you, so don't feel bad about it. We're tricking our brains into acting as if we already have it. And that seems to be, anybody here into manifestation and the law of attraction and all this kind of stuff? Well, consistently across, there's loads of different voices in that world now. But consistently is like you have to act as if you've already got it. The prayer should be being grateful for having received what it is that you haven't got yet. So we're acting as if it is now, and then we're projecting. So we're projecting ourselves into the future. And when we have the vision in place, don't worry about the details. The vision is like not so much about how you get there. That comes later. And then making sure it aligns with your values. You might not always get the vision like perfectly aligned with everything straight away. You can always tweak it. It's not cast in stone. So any questions on the guidelines, on visioning process, and on why you might want to do this? Okay. With me so far? Cool. Okay. So before we step into the end, so the way I'm going to frame this, because it's like a new year, well, kind of, we're going to cast ourselves to the end of 2025, to the successful completion of your main goals. To be already, you're going to cast yourself to being at the end of the year, being so delighted with what you've achieved. But before we do that, let's think about smaller goals, because this might be still a little bit scattered. What are smaller goals? Think of, like, have you got goals around health or wellness? Have you got goals, or maybe got moving more, goals about being fitter, goals about losing weight, about feeling more energized? Have you got just things like that? Health goals. And just write them down, or just think about them for yourself, for your own. What are my health goals for the year? Um, yeah, what goals, what might you need to achieve in terms of your health or milestones? Maybe, for example, sometimes I worked with a lady who was very overweight, and her weight loss journey was spread over a few years. But we had milestones. We put it in milestones so that we might be dropping a dress size or two, or when in the year, what smaller goals or milestones would you need to achieve in areas like your health and your career? What about career, or like, 'cause I know there's a lot of coaches in the room. Some of you got your first clients last year, first paying clients. What's the milestone you'd like to get? Is it a certain amount of clients? Is it a certain amount of income per month? Would you like to have launched new products, gain more qualifications? I know there's some of you studying. And I think we're kind of, what about your family goals? Anybody perhaps maybe want to spend more time with family? Maybe if you've had a family holiday, or if you've taken more time off, or if you've What kind of family goals? Or maybe there's a bit of a rupture in one of the relationships in the family. You want that healed. That can be very powerful. You want to kind of um, reconnect with someone. Relationships. What about relationships? Different areas of life we have. What about wealth? What about money? Any money goals? Money goals. Like a big one, my word is mental well-being. Like we can have all this stuff in the world and may not be happy. Maybe it's kind of like there's goals around if you're not stressed, what are you? Your calmness, you're moving slower, you have more time. Maybe it's time goals. I want more time, I want less time working or more time for myself, more time with somebody I love. So write down some goals or milestone is like if you have a longer term goal, we can break it into pieces. So a milestone this year, like maybe if you got a longer term career goal, maybe a milestone this year would be a promotion, maybe would be getting your degree or getting and signing up for a course or um, is there any other milestone for your career metric? So I think the idea here is this is the time to be kind of thinking of different areas of your life, different goals you have. So Gwen, being able to exercise after suffering long COVID. Yeah. So sorry. I know that's been going on a while. COVID now is many years now. Getting stronger and focusing on bone density. Okay. You have to drop. Thanks for those of you who are still with me. I know we're gone past the hour. Having more confidence to speak in public. Good. So a milestone for that would be you're actually speaking in public in some way. Maybe it starts with Toastmasters and going to a kind of an appropriate environment, or maybe you'll be just taking the plunge and saying yes to an event or organizing the event. So a milestone might be something like that. So the goal is a goal is not an intention. And having more confidence, Michelle, is an intention. So to turn it into a goal, what would you have to have done for you to know you have more confidence and so that you are confident at speaking in public? Now, the brain likes simplicity. I like simplicity. And as a coach, I like when me and my clients are working on simplicity. And it's easy, it's simple to make things complicated, and it's complicated to make things simple. So we want to have these goals. We want to be aspirational, and there's lots of different areas of your life. So we want to have those goals. There's nothing wrong with that. However, to make it simple is a little cool trick here where we think of the domino effect, the domino goal, or the domino belief. So if you think about all of these different goals you might have, is there one specific goal that if you were to achieve that, it would mean that you've been successful in all these other areas? For example, if I wanted to eat better, get fitter, lose weight, be more disciplined, go to bed earlier, and make more use of my time, stop wasting time. And if I had committed to a marathon, trained for marathon, and had run a marathon in a good time, and I was crossing that line, I'm going, yeah, wow. And there's still left in it. There's still got thing in the tank, that would presuppose that I've been training. I did a marathon once and I had trained for it, and there was people who joined in who hadn't trained, and it's a big difference. So, and you know that by the finish line. So I'm getting over the line, and it means I've trained. That means that I've done in a pretty rigorous training schedule. So that means I've had to sacrifice my time. It means that I've had to be productive. It means that I've had to be efficient with my time. It means that I've been eating well. For me personally, I've had to fuel myself well, and I've had to make time. I've had to be more organized. It would mean that I have probably lost weight, probably got rid of this a little bit of some of this flab and toned up. And it would also mean that I've been disciplined. So, in terms of you, is there a dominant goal? Is there a domino goal that if you were to achieve that one goal, it would prove or it would mean, wow, if I achieve that goal, all these other dominoes would have fallen. All these other goals would have come into place. Like and perhaps for coaches, if you're fully booked, if you're fully booked, that presupposes you've done an awful lot of you've hit an awful lot of other goals. If you're unless you're there already, it would mean that you've got your qualification, you've got your marketing in order, you're clear on your niche, you're clear on your product, you know what you're doing, you're providing value, you're retaining clients, you're getting new ones, you have a pipeline, all that kind of stuff. So can anyone think of, has anybody got a domino goal? Or let me just check in to see, is this making sense? Let me see, does the concept making sense? Like the metaphor of running the marathon. So Gwen's got the number one goal, getting all the work done within my work hours. Yeah, instead of working evenings and being behind. Okay, clear boundary work with also less. Yeah, so if every Friday, so it's maybe your division is, like come the end of your workday, you're done. Or you got time left to unwind, or you got time left to just, hmm. So frame that as a goal, Gwen? What has to happen for you to know you are, have your work hours done, you're not working evenings. Maybe it's because you're enjoying it. Maybe the vision is like something, how you're doing what you're doing evenings, he says. Yeah, you don't have to cover them all, Carolyn. There might be but is there one that kind of, you often find one that it would encompasses lots of them, or at least several. Time to move from work going to mum, yeah. So the vision, so the big goal, yeah. I get you, Gwen. Gwen to mum, wife Gwen. So the work Gwen is gone. Clear transition. So if you can see that, and if you're doing that, it presupposes you've got a lot of stuff. You're organized. You've got your stuff sorted. Has everybody got a goal? One goal that if make it the biggest one, it's like, ooh, the juicy one. If I got that, if I did reach that goal, that's the big one. That's the one that would mean so much to me. That would be like, wow. Okay, good, Caroline. Just get me to check in. How are we doing here? Because this is important. Because if we um if we can all get a kind of a big goal, it's like think of, yeah, that's the one. Hmm. And it's probably the scariest one, or it's intimidating, maybe a better word. It could be a way, like in terms of, okay, I hear they're coming in now. Paying clients. Okay, yeah. Revenue 20K monthly. Yeah. If you hit that, yeah, it's going to be, yeah, I get this discipline, focus, clarity, confidence. Yeah. And prioritizing well-being. Okay, good. Yeah. So the 20K a month and be in good shape. So I love how you're kind of, it's like if you have that kind of big financial goal, you want to get there. And if you're at the successful completion of that and you feel great and you're feeling um, well, it means you prioritize your well-being as well. So there's the end goal and there's the how you be. There's the what you do and how you be. Okay, Andrew's got one. Anybody struggling with it? Anybody's like, oh God, none of this, no, all these goals are like the same level of. Oh, well done, Jacinta. One big goal which leads to two others. Okay, and you can do the same process we're going to do today in different ways, but for that one big goal, it's beautiful because that if we're going to use a process, the vision for that successful goal. Anybody struggling? Anybody need kind of like ask me? This is I'm here to help. How can I help? What one goal that, if achieved, would make the largest difference in your life? So, Lauren, getting back to your one, getting paying clients that would be reassuring and bring more stability, finance, but also emotionally good. So, the goal might be then a certain level of income from paying clients. It could be a certain number of clients on the books. It could be just having a certain amount of recurring revenue, or a system in place that brings in um, enough clients every month to kind of build. With coaching, you're building the pipeline, you're building enough clients, and then after that, you only need to replace for one that leaves. You need to replace one. So you might be just getting to that place where you've got the minimum, what would be the minimum amount of paying clients that you would need to give yourself that reassurance. Anybody else? Let me just check in. Anybody else need any help? I've got a big goal. Don't You need to work on that. Yeah. So never mind that for now, Lauren. Um, that's the how. Lauren, think more about the outcome you want and how would you know you got that? How would you know all that was working? So Ailish, my vision is pretty huge, I think. Good. To finally relocate to a smaller town, find a small house with a garden, and base my nutrition coaching business. They're beautiful. Oh, that sounds really idyllic. I live in a small, just outside a small town, and a garden, and yeah. So we're. I can I can see why that actually strikes me. No, no, I don't. That's not. No, don't be it. Well, look, when you get there, you'll realize it whether it's idyllic or not. But it paints a picture for me. What I'm trying to say here, and if it paints a picture for me, it's like, oh, that sounds beautiful. That's a good sign. You're getting there. That could be a clear goal. The best sports nutrition in the world, running through it, everyone wants to get coached by me. Wow. For a running sports that everybody wants to be coached by me. Yeah. Highly in demand. Um, so you'd be kind of thinking for your vision, what would have to happen for you to know you have become that? We'll be doing a little process there, but kind of thinking of the outcome, getting yourself in there. How would you know you were regarded as the best sports nutrition coach in the running or sport world? Maybe it's a picture, a winner, and maybe you're just like too busy, you're turning down people, or maybe you've got recognition somewhere. Everybody got something. Has anybody not got something? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Big goal. Lauren, how are you doing? You got more of an outcome there. Focus. Okay. So all you guys got to do now is relax. Close your eyes if it's appropriate. If it's appropriate. You're going to be thinking of the big goal. You're going to be thinking of the end of 25. We're going to future pacing. It's like we're bringing ourselves to almost a year from now. It's like the end of December 2025, and you're so happy and grateful. You have achieved. It's been a really successful year. You feel so proud of yourself. You feel like, wow, I did this. And you're enjoying the satisfaction. Now, what is the last thing that has to happen for you to know you've achieved that big goal? What is the moment we go, wow, I've done it? As you think about that now, what do you see? So you're at the successful completion of that big goal within the year. Like, what do you see? What do you notice? It's the last thing that happened, the last thing that has to happen for you to know, yeah, I've done it. Boom. And there'll be a moment in your mind, there'll be a picture in your mind. If you're struggling with a picture, I'll get in a minute. For those of you who visualize well, you should have a picture. Just give me a comment. If you've got a picture or even kind of like, even if it's vague or blurry right now, just have you got a kind of a sense of what you see? Oh, wow, very good, very clear, good. Oh, good, well done, Eric. So for those of you who struggled, there's nothing wrong. We're not there yet. Who here has struggled with the seeing? Anybody anybody struggling to get a picture? And you know what? I'm speaking of clear but not but good. An intimidating journey, intimidating, challenging. Careful with your language there, Andrew. You're right. I totally hear you.
My health goal
Yes.
does and will facilitate the other goals I have already this month. My
Who's that speaking, please? I can't see you. I don't know who it is, but go ahead. Oh, maybe you didn't know you're muted. You're welcome. So I'm going to do a process again, and this is for people who struggle with vision. It probably means you're more kinesthetic. So I want you to go back to that moment. What is the last thing? I think of your big goal, the one that the domino effect. If I achieve that, it presupposes so much else. What is the last thing that has to happen for you to know you've achieved that goal? As you think about that successful completion, what do you feel? How good does it feel in your body to go, wow, I've done this? Tap into the feelings. Wow. Notice your body's like, oh, and if you can get a feeling, and if you already got the vision, now it's time to explore the feeling. If you see the pictures around you, how good does it feel to be there now, having done it, having achieved this? You've done it. Now, if you haven't got the picture yet and you're getting the feeling, it's wonderful. Now, tap into the feeling first. Feel how good it feels. And from that good feeling, if you can get that feeling, now just notice what do you see? Are there any pictures or where could you be? Are you inside or out? Are you looking at somebody or something? What is it that you notice as you feel that? Can you get more sense of what's around you? What do you see? Could be celebrating, maybe jumping up and down. Maybe you're just big smile on your face. So you want to get clear in your picture. What do you see? What do you feel? And if you can't, if you're struggling to picture, spend more time in the feeling. It's, oh, feel it first. Really feel that in your body. You've got a wonderful sense of feeling. So feel it, feel it, feel it, and then notice the pictures. And you do want to get a picture, so just wait for it and just bring in the images or an image. And then here, what else do you hear? What do you hear? What sounds are there? Is there voices or natural sounds, or maybe it's like background noise, or maybe music, or maybe there's excitement or fireworks. Notice the sounds. What are you hearing? We want to be able, ideally, we want to be able to see the picture and then feel it and see it, and then bring in the sound. So it's a really, almost as if you're there now, you're experiencing it right now. You're experiencing the successful completion of the vision right now. And it feels really good and it's clear. And if it can see it, make it even more clear. Is it color or black and white? If it's kind of not really colorful, usually it works more compelling with color. Bring in more color. Is it bright or dark or dim? Usually it works better when it's bright. You might want to tweak the brightness. You want to make it feel even brighter. If it's a feeling, you notice a feeling in your body, can you get a sense of movement? And maybe with a breath, you can breathe into that feeling and make it stronger. Anybody get that? It's like, wow, we can kind of give it even more energy. And if it wants to move, let that energy move. If it's a feeling, feel it all in your body. And if the sounds, maybe turn it up a little bit or down a bit or change it around a bit. And you really want to make this vision really compelling, ideally, so that you're almost drooling at the map. Go, wow, this is amazing. I want this. This is amazing. And when you're there and you get a sense of what you can see, what you can feel, what you can hear, what do you say to yourself? Is there something you could say to yourself in this moment that will go, oh yeah? And that's your mantra. It could be, I've done it. Or it could be like, go girl, or I did it. Think of what you could say to yourself in that moment. And if it feels right, yeah, you can use that to come back to your vision. Okay, let me check in. We're doing great. How was that? So as it sounds like a very clear vision there from Gwen. Excellent. Good. Everybody get their vision. Everybody feel everybody feel like they've got a compelling vision now for like the successful completion of this. They're there and it feels good. It looks, it's clear. Brilliant. Good man. Good. Well done, Jacinta. Good man. Thank you, Jacinta. Sorry. Anybody struggling? Need any help? Okay. Great. Very well done, Clodagh. Very clear. Good. So you should have now. Quick question. What did you have for breakfast, guys, girls? Random question just to break it down. Now, think about your vision. Can you pull back that vision? Can you just clear the mind, distract yourself, and then go back in the vision? You bring back the pictures around you, and so you bring back the feelings. The mantra might be, I did it. You can use that to pull yourself back into the vision. Then it's like, oh, yeah. You want to be able to use this whenever you need it. Just pull yourself back into that. Okay, good stuff, Gwen. Brilliant, very, very clear. Excellent. Anybody? Okay. Sorry. So if you've done this, you should have if it's a vision that's working, you should have, it should feel, who here says it feels good? Who here got into the good feeling of it? Hands up, I can see some on the room. Or quick yes, or thumbs up or something in the chat box. Feels really good, excellent. Feels great. Okay, that's a sign that you've got a vision now. It's got your emotional brain is engaged. If you're not there yet, it's okay. Like there'll be opportunities. I'm gonna make an offer here now for you as well. All is not lost. So in coaching, we're always trying to find the A and the B, where you are now and where you're trying to get to. That's the A and the B. Then we coach to the gap. So even perhaps just thinking of your vision of where you are in end of 25, you'll notice that there's certain things have to be changed. What are you doing more of? What do you think you're doing more of there when you're in that vision, when you're there, feeling good, feeling successful, feeling proud, whatever it is? What are you doing more of compared to now? What are you doing less of? You might even notice what's in the way of achieving your vision. So that's the gap. That's where coaching comes in. So little tips here is that if you got enthusiastic about this vision now, fantastic, I'm delighted. And that's the whole idea of today. But it won't be reliable. It might fade. If you bring it back regularly, this vision becomes something you maybe every day you can bring it back bring it in your mind. The mantra can be a powerful way to bring it back, but you really want to do it until you feel it. And it's like, ooh, and let that drive you. Engage the senses and make it really powerful. Act if you already achieved it. And then you can work with me. So a quick testimonial here for someone I worked in the vision with recently. Shane has been instrumental in guiding me through a transformative journey of change. As I he wants to move into a coaching career. Shane has helped me delve deeply into my why, aligning my motivation and passion with my future goals. That's what I love about this stuff. I can really get authentic and aligned. Through our work together, I've uncovered my true motivation, a realization that has been both empowering and eye-opening. So these visions can unlock something deep. This journey also revealed limiting beliefs that have held me back in the past and could continue to do so if left unaddressed. So identifying and understanding these beliefs was an unexpected but invaluable part of our discussions. I am confident this insight will be a game changer as I navigate the changes I'm planning to make. So that's a real example of how the vision can really help us align authentic and also realize, oh yeah, these limiting beliefs have been holding me back. So how can I help? How can I help you make your vision a reality? Different ways I work with people. Typical one is a 3-month coaching, and that's like a focused journey for deep transformation. Usually have like a session pretty much every week, and that's where you get the biggest impact and the quickest transformation. And we work regular sessions. We have accountability, get you going, and support. Texting during the week, emails outside, and also lots of resources. Depending on what your goal is, I have a pile of resources, everything from mindset to stress to coaching, mentoring to business. And then there's other ways. There's like monthly coaching packages, and then a really popular one, and I have at least 1 or 2 of my clients in this regard working this. And this is like we do 2 sessions per month, and you get the support with accountability, and you get access to resources. And if you're a coach, I have an online coaching package, a coaching course that's a lovely structure to guide you through for building the foundations of your coaching business. And for anybody else, it's kind of finding the right fit for you. Sometimes if you've got a lot of kids, a lot of responsibilities, a session every week can be a little bit too much, and 2 sessions can be much better. I also do a 1 session per month package, which is great when you're already in motion. You kind of want ongoing accountability, ongoing support, and a session where I have to just remove blockages, get things out of the way when you need it most. So I have to make sure you have that someone has got your back, someone's going to help you stay successful. And then if there's a particular thing annoying you, we have single sessions, a particular block, you need clarity or breakthrough. You want to refine this vision. So what you'll gain from a session with me, breakthrough. Actually, here's the offer: a free session with me. So you got a mini consultation. Use it whatever way you want. We can use it to refine your vision. It can help if you get really clear in it, so it's like compelling. Some of you got there already, which is fantastic. But then once you have that in place, that's where the hard work begins. So like having the mountain guide to help you climb up this. Thank you, Gwen. Gwen is saying she did the 3-month package and really got your business up and running. Another coach. So what you'll gain, get unstuck, confidently move forward. Different ways you can use it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send an email. I'm going to get a recording of the second half anyway, and you're going to able to book in. I have, I think probably about 4 or 5 in the next 2 weeks, 4 or 5 slots for discovery calls. Free consultation with me, and you can use any way you want to refine the vision, to make a plan around making it a reality, finding out what's in the way. Why have you been limiting yourself so far? So work on mindset, or if there's particular blocks, or if you know that you need support, or if you want to discuss how we can perhaps work together to make you achieve that vision. So that's what I'm here for this. There'll be a follow-up in the session. But if anybody's really interested in that now, just let me know, give me a thumbs up, or stay on the call, and I'll be able to talk you through it, or make some suggestions, etc. Okay, thank you all so much for joining me. We're just on the hour and a half. Quick check-in. How do you feel about 2025 now? Optimistic. Your vision to revisit everyday excellence. That is the perfect result. Optimistic too, and hopeful. And if you didn't quite get there, it's okay. You can spend more time this and pad it out. And the more you spend time focusing on this, the clearer it will become. Okay. Any questions? If you want to clock off now, I'm going to stay up for a few minutes if anyone wants to ask, has any questions, want any help, perhaps refining their vision. If you struggle with it, I got a few more minutes. I'll be willing to stay on. But if you've come for the vision and if you've got your vision, it's time now to clock off. I'll be sending out an email with ways to contact me and the recording. Ailish is going. Thanks for joining. Thank you so much, everybody, for the contributions. I really appreciate how you've engaged on the call, for your all the shares, and I really wish you a fantastic 2025.